The Seattle Seahawks got their first win over the San Francisco 49ers in a long time, and now they are back in this NFC West division title hunt as they get to host the Arizona Cardinals. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 12 matchup between the Cardinals and Seahawks. But before I get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. I can't believe we're saying this, but we've got a goal of trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. So any help is greatly appreciated. Ryan, getting into this game here, Seattle Seahawks coming off a shocking victory against San Francisco 49ers here, 2017. Essentially a walk-off touchdown run by Geno Smith. Huge victory for the team here as that puts them back to, let me double-check this here, 5-5 on the season, a tiebreaker right now over San Francisco, and just a game back from the Arizona Cardinals of leading the division, which is huge. I will say, too, another thing as well that's huge for them is they do also have the tiebreaker over the Falcons as well. So if the Seahawks win the division and the Falcons win the division, they will get that tiebreaker as well when it comes to seeding, if they have the same record, of course. But that's much farther away. We just got to focus on winning the division here. But I thought they looked solid. I will say I think that they benefited from a pretty banged-up San Francisco 49ers team. Seahawks fans, I know you're already going to be commenting in the video already about that comment, but for being honest, I think that's true. That being said, a win is a win. I thought they are taking the right steps forward. They're getting healthier at the right time as well. They did lose their center, Connor Williams, who shockingly retired in the middle of the week. Hope that he's doing well just in general. But at the same time, though, too, seemed like the offensive line played about the same as I would have thought. So able to grind out a victory here. Arizona Cardinals have been playing really well. They're coming off a bye. Ryan, what are some of the key X factors for both of these teams coming into this matchup here, come out victorious in Week 12?
Yeah, I think looking at Arizona, they like to establish the run with James Conner and then not Trey McBride, Trey Benson. Yeah. And those two guys after Trey Benson has come back from injury. So to me, I think that's going to be really big for them, establishing that run, getting the Seattle defense sucked up. And then I think that's when you get favorable matchups with Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Kyler Murray can work his magic there. And so on the flip side of that, I think it's very important that Seattle does stop the run. I believe they're one of the not as good rushing defenses in the league.
Statistically, Seattle's defense 24th in total yards allowed, 18th in passing yards allowed, 27th in rushing yards allowed.
Yeah.
And just on the flip side, when it comes to that, Arizona's 5th in offensive rushing yards.
Yeah. And so, I feel like that's a pretty big disparity there. And if Arizona can get this downhill running game going, I think it's going to be a long day for Seattle, because then I think that's when they get the play action. Marvin Harrison Jr. can beat guys over the top. So for me, I think that's going to be probably the biggest matchup in this game is just, can Seattle stop the run and can Arizona establish the downhill running game? And I think if they can do that, I think it's going to be a long day for Seattle. On the flip side, Arizona's defense has been playing better as of late. They're also coming off a bye week. They're coming off a bye. They only gave up 6 points to the Jets the week before, 9 points to the Bears the week before that. They gave up 27 to a Dolphins team, but that was at Miami with Tua coming back. And so that was a little bit here or there. And then they also gave up only 15 points to a explosive Chargers offense as well. So this defense in the last 4 games has really kind of come on for them. They've been doing a lot better under Jonathan Gannon. So I think if, again, not to sound like a broken record, if Arizona can establish the run early on in this game, I think it's a long day for Seattle, because I believe this defense for Arizona is going to show up. And I understand DK Metcalf came back this week, and that offense looked decent against San Francisco. But you mentioned Nick Bosa went out and missed the second half, missed the rest of the second half with an injury. I think they did benefit a little bit from a banged up 49ers team, and this Cardinals team's coming off a bye. They're going to be fresh. So I think it's going to come down to who wins in the trenches.
Well, and that's going to be one of the things, too, because the Cardinals defense, if we're just looking at it, so they're 21st overall in total yards allowed, 21st in passing, and 20th in rushing yards allowed. But one of the things, though, too, they have had 2 back-to-back games where they've allowed less than 250 total yards of offense. But it gets the Bears offense and then the Jets offense as well. And even to We have seen performances, though, where when they play an offense with the weapons that Seattle has, like with DK Metcalf coming back, you have Jackson Smith-Njigba, you have Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, still one of the better running backs in the league. It's unfortunate for him that the offensive line has really been struggling and been dealing with injuries. Also, because who knows kind of what statistically his first couple of years in the league could be like if he had an offensive line in front of him. And so I think one of the areas where the Cardinals defense needs to get a little bit better is going to be in that front seven. They have some good guys, but still just not great. So that's just where it's going to be a very interesting matchup overall on who can go and win in the trenches. I think it's going to be a huge confidence boost for this team, going in and beating San Francisco. I think going up against this Arizona team, though, who things have been clicking as well, not only just in the rushing game, but also in the passing game as well. That's not their first go-to. They're 22nd overall when it comes to passing yards offensively. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is taking steps forward. Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch is also there. Trey McBride is developing into one of the better tight ends in the league. And they can be explosive. They can throw for 300-plus yards if they want to. But a lot of the times, though, it's going to be led through James Conner or RPOs with Kyler Murray using his legs. And so I think that's going to be the biggest thing is not only then too as well talk about James Conner, but how are they going to put a spy on Kyler Murray and shut him down in this game as well, and then keep him contained in the pocket, make him more of a pocket passer. Because then if they do that, and it's like Kyler Murray still can, we've seen this Arizona offense be successful through the air with Marvin Harrison Jr. and the names that I've mentioned. But I think they're much more dynamic if they're running the ball first. And so I think that's just going to be very fascinating with this matchup here. It's going to be in Seattle. It's going to be a very fascinating matchup here. When it comes to predictions, I'm going back and forth on this one just because you have a Seattle team that is getting healthy at the right time. But then they're coming off an Arizona team. And we've been talking about Arizona, coming into the season and look out for them. I think the stars are aligning for them overall with some key injuries on some other teams in their division to make this possible. So this is going to be a huge matchup. I'm going to go with Arizona in this one here. I absolutely see Seattle pulling this one out. I just have a feeling this defense is just going to struggle just a little bit against this Arizona offense. So we'll have to see, though. I'm sure people think I'm wrong, and I'm wrong nearly all the time. So I totally understand.
So I'm also going to go with Arizona. I just feel like they're the better team coming into this matchup. And if it weren't for, I think, Nick Bosa going down and then some late game heroics by Geno Smith, we'd be talking about how the Seahawks have lost 6 of their last 7. Like this team starting off 3-0 has just totally fallen downhill, and they're 4-6 coming into a division matchup. But that's like, I don't want to say they got lucky against the 49ers because they made some great plays there to go and win that game at the end. But there were definitely circumstances that I think allowed them to go and do that. And I just like Arizona in this one. I don't necessarily know exactly why. I just feel like the momentum for Arizona is going in the right direction, where I feel like Seattle at the very least is like kind of stagnant right now.
Well, I don't know. They're stagnant. They're coming off. They haven't. I mean, you got to be riding high if you're a Seahawks fan. You haven't beat the Niners in several years. I would think almost too. This might just be a tough matchup. I think for the Seahawks defense.
Yeah,
as we talked about with breaking down the run game, that's going to be tough for one of the better running teams in the league. And then on top of that, too, with the addition of Marvin Harrison Jr., this passing game is more evolved and has the potential to be much more elite. And you're still going to have Reek Woolen. You're going to have Devin Witherspoon and company as well. So that's just where I think it's going to be a tough balancing act. And then on the flip side, though, too, Jonathan Gannon, we have seen progress in this defense overall. We mentioned that there are flaws to this Arizona Cardinals defense, but I think they can cause havoc on this offensive line. I think we can make Geno Smith uncomfortable. We've seen Geno Smith make errant throws, but we've seen him come in clutch, just like how we did within like the final 60 seconds of the 49ers game and score the game-winning touchdown. It's just going to be – I just think the team – I think Arizona is just going to be more consistent. And so that's why I'm leaning that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with the matchup part of that as well specifically. So let's go ahead. We're both taking the Cardinals in this one. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Arizona Cardinals? Will it be the Seattle Seahawks? And on that, we'll see you guys next time.